back, listeners, to another session of Survivor True Fans Unite, otherwise known as STFU. I'm your host, Jay. I'm one of your hosts, and we're going to cover episode 5 of Survivor 48, titled Masterclass in Deception. And with me, I got 5 guys here who might not be able to give you a class in that, but they could give you a master class in Decepticons. So let's start with Andre.
What?
Andre, how you doing tonight? I got a question for you. Did you shed a tear in that episode?
I did not. No, I did shed a tear. I had one single tear coming down. It was a good episode. So I'm shedding a tear today because Bobby's not here. So I'm a little sad. He's away, but yeah, it was a good episode. Glad to be here.
Shout out to Bobby. Mitch, how you doing tonight, Coach Mitch? And did you shed a tear?
Yes, I shed multiple ones. My eyes were really sweaty at one point, that's for sure.
Good way of putting it. Tone, nice to have you here. How about you? Shed a tear?
Am I an asshole if I say I didn't?
Not at all.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. And joining us this week, we have Shane, who we're very happy to have on, and asking you the same question. Shed a tear?
Bob sucks. I was at work watching it, and I definitely had to put my hat down over my eyes like I was watching a scary movie because I was definitely crying.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I will also say that I did shed a tear, especially. I think what put me over the edge was when Jeff started blubbering there a little bit. So, I mean, this seems like it's online. It's everywhere. CBS even replayed the episode because it was such a moment. Let's talk about that moment and just get our thoughts on it. Like any thoughts that you have on it, guys. My one thought is I was really, really impressed with how well, after Eva calmed down with the help of Joe, was how eloquently she then spoke about her problem and communicating that to everyone, and even just speaking about it and teaching everyone about it so very clearly and calmly after what she just went through. So I just want to just get your guys' thoughts on it. Let's start with Andre. You're next on my view here.
Sounds good. No, I thought it was great. I did we did do a little bit of talking about this with Bob. I just want to kind of give his 2 cents from what he told me. He said he hated it. He kind of, and I want to kind of emphasize what he kind of told me. He's like, well, I don't really, if I want to watch stuff like that, I'm not going to watch Survivor for that. Like, this is all about surviving and doing different things. I don't want to watch the emotional stuff. Too bad he's not here to kind of speak on it. But I kind of wanted to bring up his point because we were all so like aligned to, yes, we like it, except for Tone because he's heartless. But
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said I didn't cry.
He didn't cry. I'm just joking. But
Whoa, Andre, are you just throwing shade at everyone right now? Like,
Bob's not here, so
Bob
if Andre's story is even real.
Yeah,
about Bob.
What
I just throw him under the bus like that.
So,
Every time he talks, it's gonna be talking for Bob.
No, but that is one thing he did say, and I was like,
Did he really though?
He did actually. He actually said that, and I was like, oh, why did you like it? And it was because he's like, if I'm going to watch Survivor, I don't want to watch this emotional stuff in regards to that. And I was like, okay, that's a cool point. I get it. But I really liked it because I felt like this season is talking about a lot of different disabilities, a lot of different things that we often don't speak about. And then I really liked it because all of a sudden you see her starting to clamp up a little, starting to get frustrated. And like, I'm cheering for that team, and all of a sudden she can't finish. And she's frustrated and she's angry. And I was surprised how she actually was able to complete the challenge. But then as soon as she like closed her arms and held herself, that's when I was like, oh, like she's having her attack. And I was not aware that you couldn't go and just go talk to another tribe. Like you guys have to be separate. So in my basin, I'm yelling, I'm like, go to her. Joe, she needs you. Go! And I'm like, why won't he go? Stop looking. And I'm just yelling. And then I realized that's when, when they said he can go, I was like, oh, you're not allowed. So I think it was just a lot of build up. It was emotional. I really liked it because it was real, and it was good to see some real stuff out there. So I don't want to keep
Right.
talking, but I want to hear other people's thoughts on it.
Okay, let's go with Shane next.
Well, when I was talking to Bob, he also mentioned that I'm just joking. Um, well, they always say how Survivor is like a social experiment, right? And so I think it's cool because I like seeing the human parts of them. If I want to watch competitions, I'll watch a different show, right? Like there's other shows out there with strictly competition. So I like this human part. And to me, having a daughter, like I don't know, I got really emotional because if my daughter was like that and there was someone to calm my daughter down, I'd want someone to help her with that.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Mitch. Coach Mitch.
Um, you mentioned earlier that it was like a problem, and maybe I don't see it as a problem. I just see it as something that she has to deal with. And so, um, I s- like probably a lot of us we kind of saw it coming. She was struggling with that challenge, and then you're just hoping that she pulls it off. Then you see everyone kind of like crowd her and hug her, and like Andre's that she kind of like they got all tightened up, and to which the what that she told Joe like this is what happens. I'm squeezing on my arms like that, and you know they was also just um I saw Joe when I was just like, is he gonna go over and like go waiting how much like on Dream. I'm just like trying to wipe into my tears, like, is he gonna go over? Like, come on, like, go. And then when he went over and he was like helping her breathe and all that, they just that's when the waterworks started flowing because I like partway through I was like, well, they've already exposed their relationship to their tribe earlier. Then I also figured that she would then to use that to tell everyone her stories. It was cool that Joe was not worried about the game at that point. He just, saw his a friend who needed help and he went over and helped. So it was like, yeah, it was awesome.
Right. Tone, your thoughts.
I had different feelings throughout the challenge, like on her part. At first, I felt bad for her, that she was having a hard time, and I could see that she was getting frustrated. And I actually didn't think she was going to do it, and I was also wondering how she'd react if she actually wasn't able to complete it, because her reaction could have been worse. And then when she actually did it, I saw like a small part of relief, but then she kind of went into like that, I don't know how you call it, for panic mode, or she couldn't control herself, and she just kept on crying. And then first I felt sad, then I laughed a little bit because it sounded like a little baby that just cries uncontrollably. And then I felt a little sorry for her again. And then after I did rewatch the episode earlier today, and I kind of felt a little more emotion when Joe was actually able to go over and hug her. Not so much about Jeff when he was crying like a little baby, but yeah. So I felt different things throughout her part.
I was gonna add something, and I think we all kind of saw it. Like when Joe went over, it just looked like it was raw emotions between both of them. It was really like, I got you. Just looking at her, nothing else mattered, and it was just like it's what she had asked for in the beginning. And I think we kind of knew, we didn't really know what to expect, but we kind of had a inkling maybe that's how it is. But then when it was happening, it was really like he really understood her. Like she had the option to ask anybody, but she felt the most comfortable with him. And I think she made the right choice because he really was just there to comfort her. I also noticed one thing, I don't know if anyone else noticed, like it brought to light Mary to me, where Mary was like the right fit in that group, where she was like, you gotta believe in yourself, you gotta do this, and just kind of amping her up in a positive way. and to me, it made me kind of like Mary a little bit more. It was in the background. I was like, oh, this is the right group for Eva before she kind of felt like she can't connect with anybody unless it's a guy. And I felt that this might be the connection that she might be able to build better connections with the females in her tribe.
Yeah, I noticed during the challenge that Mary was telling her, "Say I can do it. Say I can do it," and she would say, I can do it." And then when she won, she was like congratulating her. So Mary, going forward in that tribe, she's going to be someone that you could also lean on. But yeah, actually, we'll get to that when we talk to the tribes. But yeah, that was quite a moment. I think the drama of seeing someone struggle and overcome and accomplish was definitely huge in that moment, especially with her disability. So that was just an amazing moment, and an epic one, and a lot of people are saying like one of the most emotional and dramatic events in maybe all the survivors. So glad to be a part of that. I'm glad we could all talk about it on this podcast. That's pretty cool.
So Jeff
Yeah.
has never cried before that, then, hey? That's the first?
That's what he said, and I don't remember him ever coming to tears like that or struggling to speak that much.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I also liked it though how Jeff turned it around and it made it like real, even more real. Where it's like, at some point in this game, you may blindside each other, and I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like they're so close, but they're still in this game. That there may be a point where they're gonna have to vote against each other, and like, how is that gonna play out? Like that was a cool moment and kind of putting your emotions in a different way or putting your emotions aside and realizing what you have to do. So it
I
was
wonder if
cool
that's
that he brought that up.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, we'll see. Go ahead, Mitch. You want to say something first before we move on?
Yeah. Can I ask, like, maybe like offer the people you have to watch, for a while, like you and Ant offer. Yeah, sure. That like, can you name another either a super big moment that like that in Survivor, that whether it's like emotional or not emotional? Like, what do we now think that the moment ranks?
Well, listening to a bunch of podcasts and look at things online, I think one of the other moments that's up there is the one where I can't remember which season was. Second Chances, maybe. I can't. Where Siri was doing a challenge and she could not cross the balance beam during the challenge, and then everyone basically waited and until she was able to. That was a very emotional one. That one didn't really hit me as hard. Probably not even close, but that's what I hear is another one that's up there. For me, one of the ones that I remember, and it's been sort of recent, and I'm sorry that I can't remember her name, but there was that contestant that was missing a leg, half leg.
Oh, yes.
Anyone remember her name?
Oh,
No.
Anyways,
yeah.
when there was that time when they were doing a challenge, I think it might have been a reward challenge, and she was struggling. She was stuck in that
Noelle?
cargo net.
Noelle?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Noelle.
Yeah.
Noelle? Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Fact checker. Andre, was that you? So yeah, she was struggling in the cargo net. She got to the last stage at the very end, very late, and she nails throwing up some balls up onto some platforms, like on a road to win it. That was one of my top emotional comeback moments that I can remember. Anyone else?
I don't remember if it was in a challenge or not, and there's no way I'm gonna remember what season it was and the person's name. But there's this lady, and she had like false teeth or dentures.
Yes.
And somehow the teeth fell out. I think fell to the bottom of the lake, and someone had to go get it for her. And she was really insecure. Yeah, that's right. And she was really insecure about that.
Got it for her.
Yeah, I think Brenda was hot too. Anyways, yeah, that's like I said, I can't remember if it was a challenge or not. Just somehow her teeth fell out in the lake, and Brenda went and got it, and she was really emotional for that.
Yes.
Uh, that was randomly. They went swimming. She lost her. Keith couldn't find it, so then Brenda went in to get it for her and saved it. And then later on, that episode, Dawn blindsided Brenda after she took her on the family reward or the family hit thing.
According to what I can find, is that Dawn was actually even thinking about leaving that season because she couldn't find her teeth and something like that. But
that kind of rings a bell.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. She was very emotional about losing her teeth. Yeah.
I didn't see that season. I'm just bringing up the facts. So.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely up there, if not the most emotional.
Yeah, Noelle's was pretty good because like her leg was off, and then you could tell she was getting frustrated, and I remember her getting out. But I think this one still beats it just because.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were both amazing, and just you like to see those triumphant like wins, right? Where it's like they can't, where it just happens like that. I did notice, and I'll say this because maybe I'll just say it, but I felt like the camera was panning on Eva and Say was like they were like, "Oh, gotta be nervous." Like I got this. I'm not nervous. I'm not stressed. I got this. And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And then Eva on the other side was like stressed, and she was there, and it was just like, to me, it kind of pinned it like good versus bad, good versus evil, to kind of start planting the seed of her being the villain. So I was like, "Oh, okay, sounds good."
One other thing I want to remark about that is that the camera work and like the focusing on Jo in the background, watching her so intensely while she was struggling and still trying to complete the challenge, or even when she was after when she was like having her episode and he was just staring at her so intensely, and I thought, man, if he just raised an eyebrow and gave a people's eyebrow, man, he would be the Rock, like so much. He is the Rock. He looks like the Rock. He's the Rock. People have even called him the Rock. So it's like he really looked like the Rock in those shots.
Yeah. It's cool to kind of see them talk about these disabilities because in an interview between Jo and Eva, they were talking about how many people have reached out to them. And Jo has actually had coworkers who he's known for years didn't realize that some of their kids were autistic. And they reached out to him and said, because of what you did, it's kind of allowed me to share my story with you. And I've always been afraid that like maybe that's not something that people would look down on. So it's cool to see that all this awareness is coming to light, even with this episode, and even with a speech impediment, like where we talked with Mitch about it here. And so it's really cool how they're doing all that this season.
Yeah, I can only imagine the amount of in-person and online comments and praise and feedback that those two are getting for what they went through there. Okay, so let's move on to our usual agenda right now. Let's talk about that vote out in this new Siva tribe with Bianca in the middle. She has no vote, and she tries to think of a way to survive. It didn't work out. So let's talk about first where Bianca went wrong. Let's give that to Coach Mitch to start us off on.
Well, I think that she would have been safe. She did a great job of pitting the other four people against each other, and she would have been safe until she thought about the morning about the damage control, about not telling people that she didn't have a vote. So she thought an extra step ahead as opposed to just trying to get to the next day. She was already thinking about the damage control that day, and then still she slipped up and told that Cedric, and yeah, that's where it bites you.
I'll follow up on that. Tone, your thoughts on what Bianca did?
I think her first mistake was applying for the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shots fired! Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go, Ant.
All right.
Yes.
She was invisible
Bob would say
for
wow.
most of the show, and then she started talking. I think she talked a bit last show, and then she started talking a lot this show. Yeah, she had no vote, but I think she was playing too hard, and I'm not sure why she was playing both sides. I think she thought she was almost like a swing vote, even though she doesn't have a vote, and she was a factor. I'm not sure why she'd think she'd want to work with Say and Cedric over Mitch and Chrissy. And I think Mitch and Chrissy pulled her in, and if she would have decided to work with them, Chrissy was working on Cedric to get him to vote Say out. So even if she didn't have a vote, they would have had Mitch and Chrissy. And if they were able to convince Cedric, and if Bianca sided with Chrissy and Mitch and also helped in pulling Cedric on their side, they would have had 3 votes, even if she didn't have a vote. And her telling Cedric, I guess she doesn't know how much of a bitch Cedric is, but if she had to tell anybody, she could have told Mitch and or Chrissy, and they probably would have helped protect her, and they would have worked on getting Cedric's vote to vote out Say, and she would have survived. She would have survived the vote and vote Say out. So
Yeah, she definitely had that option, but she didn't take that. Cedric pretty much decided Bianca's fate after she told him. Shane, what do you think of Cedric's decision and what ended up ultimately? Is that a good move for him?
I don't see why it's a bad move for him. Because, well, Bianca was a lone wolf, so that was the easiest thing to do, was just vote her out. So this is what I was saying before. This is what I was confused about. How did that other vote for Bianca happen?
Oh, well, like why did Mitch? Was it?
it was Mitch and Chrissy.
Oh no, it was Cedric and Chrissy. Chrissy was the
Cedric and Chrissy, yeah.
Chrissy. Yes, Chrissy was
Yeah,
the
Mitch
other
voted for
vote
Say.
for Bianca. Did you? Yeah, they showed that in the credits. I don't know if you watched the credits.
Yeah, I
Right.
saw that yeah, but how did they know? Why didn't they vote for Say? Like, why did Chrissy go Bianca?
My theory is that Cedric, like he said, he's like, now I've been told this information with a couple minutes before we leave. What do I do? Do I hold it to myself or do I tell somebody? And I have a feeling as they were about to leave, he told Chrissy, and that was it. And they get a chance to tell Mitch, and that's how I feel they're going to tell, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
Chrissy, I think she kind of knew before.
It's like she even said that when she was outvoted out, and like they was like what, and then Chris's did you see that there was not a fifth vote? That's why. So like they told Chrissy, and that's all why is because she had lied to all of them about that.
I also think Chrissy kind of suspected in a previous episode. She kind of mentioned, I think she mentioned Bianca going on the journey, and she was wondering if she lost her vote, I think.
Okay. I didn't know if there was something I missed on the show where they showed how Chrissy knew.
They didn't show it.
They showed a look
we have to
between
assume it.
Mitch and Chrissy.
Oh, okay. But I think Bianca did it right, what she was trying to do, because she was the easy vote, so she had to cling on. Like her strategy to try to get them at least tie, so she wouldn't be voted out. Well, you know how the tie works, but like, so she can at least get a tie. That's good. But if they can place 3-on-1, then that's perfect. So I thought, her strategy was good. It just, her telling the wrong person what happened kind of bit her in the butt.
Well, that's why I was saying she should have sided with Mitch and Chrissy, and they would have had. And if they would have pulled Cedric, they would have had 3 votes against Say.
Yeah, I feel like
Do
she should have just told Cedric, I'm voting for Say, and I just found out that Mitch and Chrissy are voting for her, so that's where my vote's going.
Yeah,
And then right off there, then force him to make that play and just not leave it alone. But it
right.
kind of goes back to what Justin said, where he's like, should I tell Cedric or not? Because anytime you tell him anything, Cedric either blows up the plan or freaks out and doesn't know what to do. And I kind
Yeah,
of feel
but
like this is exactly what happened again.
yeah, Bianca doesn't. I know that about
No, no,
Cedric.
I'm not saying she
They're
doesn't.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like Bianca. I shouldn't have told anyone at all.
I
You know,
agree.
even if it was a
Yeah.
tie, it would have been a perfect. So like, she had everything set up a perfect deli, and she was thinking about the damage control the next morning, and then they're like, because she didn't have this, they had like, go let them. I'll find out, do the damage control in the a morning as opposed to before tribal. So that's,
Yeah.
I would think, get her in.
Cedric knows Say though, so I'm not sure why he feels like he has a connection with her when he keeps on screwing her.
Right,
I know
and
it.
that's where I'm like I can't believe like he's so loyal to Say.
That's why he's a bitch.
Yeah, that's a strong
That's
take.
what Bob,
That's
that's what
valid.
Bob said. Yeah, that's what Bob
He's
said.
got beta energy.
But he is like
That's
so
why he's a little buffed
disillusioned.
up.
And if he would have kept the secret and went along with Bianca's plan, I just think that Bianca would have been a better ally for him than Say. But he doesn't. He just doesn't believe that. I guess he did not believe that he could get farther in the game with Bianca than Say.
Maybe
Thinks
he
he can work
knows
with
that
Say.
Say is so bad that it gives him another week of not being voted out if Say's around.
Maybe.
Like that's
did
the only
Bianca
thing I can think of.
did Bianca use what Say? Remember when Bianca's like, "I want to work with you and Cedric," and Say was like, "Well, you get a read on Cedric first." You know what I mean? Did Bianca ever say that to Cedric and say,
They
"Hey,
never
she
showed
has
it.
doubts about you"?
Apparently not enough. Like she should have been driving a huge wedge through that alliance,
Yeah.
and I don't think she did it enough.
I don't feel like
So
it was a hard thing to do though. Like it was a
No.
simple. Let's draw that wedge. I'm voting for Say. You need to vote for me, or she's gonna kick you out eventually. Just thought I'd let you know.
yeah, but
Thanks.
also remember that Say and Cedric has been like, I guess, kind of together for the last whatever 9 days, 10 days, or whatever, right? And only been with Bianca for however many days. So it's like, can I fully trust this person who's by themselves?
Yeah, that's valid. But then, can you vote? Can you also fully trust somebody that you wanted out last week that you voted out and then said, "Well,
Yeah.
I guess you guys are okay to stay."
They,
Like,
Cedric even said that he'll vote out stay in the future, but just not now.
Yeah.
Then like,
Yeah.
why you just wasting the possible shots at this
Yeah.
point? Because I think they like the rest of us try to get him that before he gets there.
And
I think it's
Chrissy and Say, they had tensions after that one challenge when
Yeah,
Say ate the kiwi. Like
and
that's
she's that out as well because
yeah.
she was
So
tired.
it shouldn't have been hard to convince Chrissy to stay with the plan and Say instead of Bianca, but
Yeah, since we're talking about the strategies of the people in the tribes, I'll just give everyone the STFU power rankings of this tribe this week. So from top to bottom, we have Mitch at 4, Cedric at 3.2, Chrissy at 3, and then Say we all gave her 1, so she has an average of 1 this week. And I gave Say a 1 because again she was left in the dark. She has no idea what's going on. I don't know how many times she's actually voted for the right person, but she did not. And again, that just goes to show that even her own tribe mate cannot trust her to to tell to tell her what he's doing. Anyone got some other notes on this tribe?
um I know it showed in previous episodes that Christy and Mitch didn't have much of a relationship, or they didn't talk much, but they kind of did in this episode because of Say. But then Chrissy went with Cedric, and she didn't vote the same as Mitch, so Mitch kind of voted Say. So I'm not sure if there's like any tension or conflict with Chrissy and Mitch because of that.
That's where I feel like this upcoming episode will be when they talk about it. I have a feeling she'll say, Cedric told me on her way there, I couldn't tell you. Otherwise, I would have.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, that's what I feel she's going to say. But, yeah, I don't feel they have, like, there's no real leader in that group. They all kind of go, well, you know what? I take that back because I feel like Mitch and Chrissy kind of were taking the lead, and then
Yeah, they
they
did.
should have stuck with what they thought and worked with Bianca. Bianca should have shut her mouth, and, that would have been it. And then I wouldn't have to double check a name every time I say it to make sure I said it right.
Right.
So now I gotta keep checking.
I
Go
gave
ahead.
Say a 1 because when she talked after the reward challenge about Mary being the more humble and winning, blah blah blah. I just think that she has projected herself as like someone that why would you want to work with her kind of a thing. Like anyone else that watching her do that, you're like, hey, I really want to work with that person at the merge. I hope she makes it through. So there's nothing that's is unworkable with.
That's
Definitely
a great
wild
point.
card.
Yeah, everyone's faces were like, "What is she talking about?"
She might be
on
that
all
goat
the front. Yeah,
in the bad way, where they just drag her to the final.
Yeah.
I agreed with Say though. It's like, Mary, just stop, because there's people who don't have rewards or don't have anything, so just stop. Oh, we got too much fruit. We still have fruit from yesterday, and we're getting more fruit. Oh my god, we got so much food here. Like stop.
that was the only point that I was like, you need to shut up." Right there,
Yeah.
when he's like, "We have so much food," I was like, "Nope."
Yeah.
Everything else I was okay with. So
But I agree with Mitch after. Like, if you could think it, but don't say it.
Yeah. I think at the time she didn't realize how she was sounding.
Yeah. I think she was just
but-
excited that she won.
Yeah.
But was Mitch saying that because for Mary or for Say?
Say.
That's
He
true.
was saying it for Say. Like, you could think maybe
Yeah.
she's not being a good sport about it, but don't verbalize it.
Yeah, I can see it going the other way too, and like try and pump up the other team, right? This Say's like, yeah, then Mitch and Bianca being like, yeah, and everyone, yeah, but because it's Say, they're like, shut up.
that was a good challenge.
All right, let's jump over to this purple loggy team, who is doing quite well. David and the four girls. Our STFU rankings have them just in the middle, like no one high, no one low. We have David and Mary both at the top at 3.8. Charity and Star just a little bit lower at 3.2, and Eva at 3.1. So they're all just right in the middle. Let's get Shane to talk about this tribe first. What are you thinking about this tribe going forward?
Pass. I'm just joking. No, you know what? That like it's like the beginning when they're winning. Like everything is good. I think after Eva talked about her autism and Star really respecting that, and it's like, I got you. I think now Eva's gonna be like, wait, she got me. Like, okay, maybe she might think differently after that. But I think everything's going well with these guys. I don't even know like if there's anything bad right now until something actually happens where they do have to vote someone out.
Until Eva goes, actually, don't vote for Star, even though I told you that I was going to serve you up on a platter for her.
Well, let's go. Let's go to you next, Andre.
Like,
I want to get to you.
I'm so pro Eva, and then she did these horrible things, and I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? And then Star, out of all the people, goes, I got you. like you said, Shane. Like she was so you can see it, hey, in her eyes, like so much respect for her. And then she's gonna find out that Eva literally said, "Vote Star off. I'm giving it to her in a silver platter. Just take her. Just that's what we want off."
You think Star will find out?
I think so. I think because I don't know if anyone else noticed, but Charity did not look happy with all the praise that Eva was getting. In the background, you could see her be like, "Oh."
She wasn't as excited.
No, it was all fake, and it was very like you can tell that she was going to let everyone know what Eva did behind her back as soon as they merged, and that's what I think. And yeah, this I gave Eva 2.5 because I'm like she's in the middle. Like I don't, she's a toss up right now.
Eva also called a Charity fake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Charity was a fake when she was like trying at a reward.
Sanctuary.
Then also Eva has an idol. And now that Star gave her. Star gave her the idol. She gave her. Oh, you can have it. What? Are you serious?
I didn't think that was deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like she helped you open it so that you. I don't know, man. It's like, wow, that like Star really drank Kool-Aid afterwards, and that's I think that Eva's taking a pretty good spot at the moment. Yeah.
I have reverse thoughts about those two things. So, Eva, I gave her a 2 this like despite her awesome episode this week. I gave her a 2 because of two things. Obviously, she's now more of a threat because of that Joe alliance that is now revealed to everybody. It's like she says, you know, to everyone, hopefully we can put this outside the game, but it's not outside. You can't put that alliance outside the game. And so that was one strike against her I gave her this week, unfortunately. And then second is that she does have an idol, and lots of people know about it. So lots of people know about it, and it may not happen next episode, but I think in a future episode, because lots of people know about that she has the idol and she's paired up with Joe, I think she will become a target, and that's why I gave her a 2. But you know, she will last a little bit longer. I gave her 2 going to the end. My second point before I go back to you, Mitch, is that Star, yes, gave her the idol. However, I think that's going to benefit Star more. I think like an idol will keep her safe for 1 trial, maybe 2 if she uses it right. But I think in gaining an ally, I think will ultimately get her farther in the game. Hopefully, if Eva actually becomes an ally of Star, which she seems pretty excited about, Eva. So we'll see how that pans out. But that were my thoughts and why I gave her those rankings. Go ahead, Mitch. You wanted to say something.
Is it safe to say that neither Joe or Eva will make final 3? And now, because like if Eva makes a final 3, it's not like the story of, right? And then still, she has a very good story for like people like Q who votes for the things else that game that would take a vote for it, and even for say just knowing that Eva would vote for Joe if Joe made a final 3. That's why you can't take Joe to final 3 because Eva would be a vote for him. So I don't think that neither of them will make a final 3 anymore because of what happened. It was a great moment, but they've been exposed, and if I was playing, I'd let neither one of them make a final 3. That's for sure.
No, I agree with that. But is there like, and I don't know what the political correct way to say this, but is there like a disability hangover? Like, are people going to be like, well, we can't vote her off because she's, has autism? Like, is that going to be now like brought up, and is that going to play in her favor or play against her? And will that allow her to stay in the game longer? because of it. So that's where I'm like, is that going to also cause something? Because I think there is a little bit of a hangover. People are gonna be like, oh, well, she's awesome, she's this, and you can see it in Chrissy's face, Charity's face, where she's like, oh, this is so dumb, and everyone else is all about her. And I agree with it. This helps Star a lot better because now the spotlight isn't on her. She's gonna coast a little bit longer. Um, but who wants to be the person who like knocks down a handicapped person? Right? You're not gonna walk around and push somebody in a wheelchair, but are you gonna vote somebody off of Survivor here? Like who makes that decision, right?
If you take out the autism and you just take Joe and Eva, they're a strong duo.
Yes.
So by default, they should be considered a threat. So it would be smart for the players to take them out. So, but yeah, I guess there is that factor to possibly let them stay in the game. But if they were smart, they shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, like even Star right now, where Eva's like, or Star's like, have my idol. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully that was a strategic move on Star's part, but I haven't shown her being strategic. But if that was the move to get goodwill from Eva, then that was a smart move.
I agree. Yeah.
Star.
And also, Noelle was voted out in her seasons.
Yeah, it's I can't remember the last time someone had a story, a sob story in quotes that everyone knew about that made it to the end. So I can't remember that happening.
Yeah,
so they're usually voted out before that.
Yeah, because you don't want people at that final tribal to like stay their story and get all those sympathy votes.
But Andre's right though. Like, who's gonna have the balls to vote out Eva now? Like, really, that's
like I could see
and being aware that the whole world's watching. Right?
I want to see Joe vote Eva out. Let's see that.
But it's like the person that wins Survivor will do it.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it'd be awesome if it was Eva, Mitch in the finals with Say.
Yeah.
And then Mitch and Eva split the sympathy votes, and then Say wins.
Yeah.
No.
With a couple.
No. Who's voting for Say? Come on now.
Cedric.
But
No. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Say's gonna be the one to like initiate. We gotta get rid of Eva because of like she's the one that I could see pushing the wheel kid over because she's in her way or something like. So it'll be. But then the week after, she'll get voted off for sure. So,
if anyone, I could see Say doing that. Any last thoughts on this Purple Tribe? No, we can move to Green Vula Tribe then. For the STFU power rankings, we have Camilla at the top at 4.4, as well as Kyle. Both Kyle and Camilla 4.4, doing very well. Joe in the middle at 3.1, and we have Joe at the bottom of that tribe at 3.1. I don't know why that didn't get sorted properly, and Shoheen just underneath Kyle and Camilla at 4. Let's go to Andre just because he gave Joe the lowest score at 2.5.
I gave Joe the lowest score. Same thing as Eva. They're in the middle. I can't really predict what's going to happen in regards to how everyone's going to react to this now. So I had to bump him down just for that reasoning. As to why, as to if they're going to look at it as a strength, if they want to vote him out sooner, especially with the merge upcoming. But can I talk about what they all talked about all their parents?
Yeah, we're talking about all their tribe, this whole tribe, whole tribe dynamic. Go ahead.
So the reason why I really like this episode because it hit on a bunch of the feels. I was like, oh, first with this, and then with Eva and Joe and the whole breakdown there. But I found being a son of an immigrant, my parents, and not a lot of people know this, but the reason why we moved here was because my dad was kidnapped. And then he was kidnapped in Guatemala, taken hostage for 3 days. And then I'll make this really quick. And then he was found on a ditch. He laid there for a couple of days. Didn't want, like, he thought it was a couple days, it could have been a couple hours, but then he basically went to a fire station. It was all over the news, and then within like a week and a half, we got moved to Costa Rica. And then it's just like we had to leave everything out of nowhere. And I feel like all of us coming from like different ethnicities. It's a good thing that Bob's not here, because I would say all of us here who have different ethnicities in the background and kind of understand that
Bob sucks.
understand that like family culture is really huge in our cultures, kind of thing. So to just be kind of taken away from that, and then coming back and kind of us being moved to a whole different country where we didn't even understand the language after that, and seeing the struggles that my parents went through of not knowing the language, just trying to work. And it wasn't because we chose to move here. It's kind of, it happened because my dad was kidnapped. So that kind of really hit a different nerve for me when they were talking about the sacrifices their parents made and the sacrifices that they had to do. So that was a little touchy for me. I was kind of, that was the warm up for my tears to come out for Eva, and I was like, oh, it's too much. This is a good episode. So I could really relate to them, and I really want this tribe to go far. I want this tribe, that I feel this tribe can do so well hiding their alliance, that going forward, a lot of people may not think that they're going to be working together, that they'd be really well at hiding their alliance and having that thing that unites them, of their immigrant parents working hard to get over, do a better life for their kids. And I think this will be the strongest connections out of all of them. So that's just my take on it.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story, Andre. Whoa, that hits hard.
Thank you for sharing that with us there, Andre.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So I'd love to share it more if you guys ever want to know about it. To me, it's just like life. It's just what happened. But then when I tell people, like, really? And I'm like, oh, I guess this doesn't happen very often. So yeah.
I know.
So.
Well, not that story, no.
Yeah,
Jeez.
well, then my uncle also got kidnapped and all this other stuff. So that's why I was like, I guess it doesn't happen very often to regular people.
That's a whole other podcast, man. We'll have to deep dive into that.
Special edition podcast, STFU.
Shane, what's your thoughts on this tribe?
Pass.
Okay.
Just joking. I'm joking. No, I agree. If moving forward, if these guys work together, I think they could be strong, and if they keep it like a secret alliance, I think that could be good too. I know you guys are big on Joe and Eva, their relationship together, seeing that as a weakness. But you know what? Like, I can almost see that loyalty, especially from Joe, being something that people would want. That father figure, like, I want, Joe to take care of me like he takes care of Eva, type thing. So I can kind of see people going towards Joe and being like, I can trust you, But yeah, I think
what if he's too likable?
I think this is he too likable? It can be good and bad, right? It could take you far, but it also could, cut you right away. I don't know. I can't. It can go either way.
Yeah. Especially if, like, right in the middle when they merge, and you need numbers. Well, then if you have Joe or if you have Eva, then you have both of them. So at least maybe in the next couple episodes, that pair power couple are numbers, and maybe someone can use them for a while and before they cut them loose.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The reason I gave Camilla and Kyle fives, obviously, because what they pulled over last episode, but I gave them fives also because they're keeping up this charade that they weren't aligned before anyway, and so they although they might have the secret alliance of 4 right now, they might be able to be seen as still kind of separate because they're still trying to make it look that way. So I gave them a bump just because they're keeping up that charade. They could have said, you know what, guys, we pulled one over on you and we're actually pretty tight. No, they didn't do that. They they kept that charade up. So that's why I gave them an extra little bump there. Anything else about this tribe? Anyone else?
Yeah, I wanted to chime in about their after tribal from last episode. Yeah, when they came back, Shohin kind of talked to Kyle and said, "Hey, we kind of had to do that, right?" And he wasn't a bad sport. And last week I said, "Oh, maybe Joe will take it like a good game move, and he'll be all right with it after." But then he talked to Kyle and was talking about, "Oh, I was being honest with you in my talks and stuff." And like, what is Kyle supposed to do? Just be honorable and just get voted out, right? So Kyle shouldn't have to defend himself on why he used the idol and kept himself in the game. So I thought that was not a very good reaction from Joe initially. But I've also added, after the talks about their background and their families, I do like the Green Tribe now. Like, they've all bonded and they don't want to vote each other out. I know if the situation comes, they will have to vote, and that'll be tough. But right now, I see them as a good group, and I agree with, was it Andre? I'm not sure if it was Andre, but they can go, and they don't look like they're a team together. They can still hide up and get through the game without exposing their strong bond. And I also like Kyle's reasoning. He didn't talk about Camilla, about telling him about them searching the bag. He commented saying that, "Oh, it looked like my bag was searched, and that's why I had to use my idol." So that was good that he didn't expose Camilla in that way.
Yeah, that was the smart play there by Kyle saying that.
It was very smart. I know Bob would want to be here and talk about this team because he would want to talk about when they were talking, hanging out, and Kyle was in his boxers. I know that Bob would have really liked to kind of emphasize that. I'll just leave it at that. Next week he's back, he'll talk about it, and yeah, that was his favorite part. So I don't want to take too much away from him.
Yeah.
So just leaving that open for Bob for next week.
All right. Well, we talked about the tribes. Now let's talk about other things. What other things in the episode? What do you guys think of that challenge? I know there's that drama at the end, but what do you think of that? How that challenge was built overall? Andre?
It was more engaging. It was more like, instead of just having Mitch do everything, because Mitch can do everything because he's a superstar. I liked how they had each person have to do something and like to finish the challenge. So have to put the ball in there at the end instead of someone who could just do it. I thought that was a great addition to the challenge, and I hope they keep doing that.
I agree. Anytime they force everyone to participate, basically, right? Is a good thing.
I think Mary killed it. She did her part so fast.
Yeah.
Her and Camilla, actually.
Yeah. Her and Camilla,
Yeah,
when Camilla came up the
too.
second time.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of Mary. Like, I like her and I don't like her. Sometimes I look at her and I think she's high. Sometimes I'm like, what is up with her? Like, but I like her, and I don't know the thing she says. Is it strategy or is it just her free speaking? I want to see her go far, just because I like to see the things she does, the things she says, and like when she went up to the challenge and just did it super quick, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping people don't see her as a threat. Like, she's small in stature,
Yeah.
and she did well in that challenge. But I'm hoping people aren't really noticing and they're just overlooking her. And it's not just because they have her as one of my picks.
Yeah,
Hey, Andre, maybe
it's-
she hasn't eaten as much in days other. That's why she may seem a little out of it at times.
that's true. But she has all this extra food now that's just laying around.
That's why she was super excited after winning, right? She's like, "Hey, we get to go. We get to be first," because she doesn't really want a thing, and that's her not really thinking because she hasn't eaten much. So
That's true. That's a good point.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah,
Well,
I do.
Usually, when I
that-
eat too much, I start saying things that I don't really think about. So that's probably what she was doing too.
Mm,
Yeah, sorry guys, I totally skipped over the reward challenge. Now, there was that reward challenge too at the start, and they had all those balls there and balls dropping. Even Jeff made a comment about balls being dropped and moving on to your next stage of life or something like that. He's making that sort of analogy with balls dropping. That was hilarious. They were throwing and bouncing
I
off
don't
the
get
nets.
I didn't.
Have your balls dropped yet, Shane? And then
I didn't catch them when he was saying them. I was like,
oh,
when I read what you
Didn't
said, I was like, oh, wow, Jay
catch any
really
of the
paid
balls?
attention to the balls, like ball comments. And I'm like, now I got to rewatch it and hear those ball comments and innuendos that he was doing.
oh yeah. Every time there's a challenge with balls, you got to listen because
Okay, I got to make sure that.
and he on his podcast, he actually knows he's doing it. He plays it very cool, and it seems like he doesn't, but he actually knows he's saying those things.
That's
And
funny.
Well,
it might be to the entertainment for some of us.
come on. You have to go with balls. You have to have that. Yeah.
What would
I
you
always
guys
picture ants giggling every time he says something about that.
What would you guys like as a reward if you guys were there, and you guys got to go to Sanctuary and there's food? What would be your food of choice? Like, obviously for David, it was his milk, his whole milk, not his 2%. But what would you guys want?
I think the coffee would be a big plus.
Okay.
A little shot of energy.
In the past, they've had like sponsors before us. Anything from either the Outback Steakhouse or Applebee's or like
Like an onion loaf.
any one of those. Yeah, I'll fill me up on those stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely a margarita or cold a beer would be awesome.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice too.
Well,
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
I think pub grub for me. Give me some wings and nachos, something fried that I'm gonna fry
Oh.
out afterwards, and like
Yeah.
a
If we'll
cold
have the
beer.
auction still this
What was that?
This auction,
the auction.
Yeah,
maybe.
hopefully.
What about
for-
you, Jay?
For me, in just terms of just like taste, I think
Wants bottled water.
Desserts.
Chocolate. I would love to have chocolate there. Not
Chocolate?
not just chocolate, but as a dessert. That might be my wish.
Like chocolate is in chocolate or like chocolate cake or chocolate ice cream or
Anything
Chocolate
chocolate.
Just
Just anything.
okay.
I always
So-
have a little bit of chocolate in the house that I
Okay.
snack on once in a while. I'm probably diabetic.
So I know you hear a lot of different podcasts, but my question has always been like, when you're not eating a lot and then all of a sudden you go have this kind of food, isn't that like a shock to your stomach? Like, when you've heard other podcasts and you've done other research, what do the contestants say about how their stomach feels, or how they obviously they get energy, but also do they get the runs? Do they not feel well? Do they feel like bloated? Like, what do they say, Jay, or anyone else
Protein.
knows?
Protein.
There has been some times where people have actually thrown up from eating too much or too fast at those rewards.
Yeah.
then people being a little woozy and staying a little too much as well
From the booze. Yeah.
from the booze. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I'm not sure if
Teeny
I
and
heard
the
it
wine
correctly.
last season.
yeah. Seeing the wine.
I think there was a reward where there's a bunch of meats, like steaks and stuff, and I
Yeah.
think someone got backed up. And I'm not 100% sure, but they might have been evacuated because they got constipated. But I'm not
Bruce.
sure.
It was Bruce from way back that could not go for a poop for many days because he was backed up and he did have to get evacuated. Was it because of meat? Maybe, I can't remember.
I think it's harder to break it down after a long time.
Whoa, yeah, that's true, Bruce. Yeah, okay, I see it. Fact check is correct.
Surely.
So
That was a long time. That's 2006. Wow.
What happened?
Andre the fact checker, he's got his Google ready.
So,
That Andre, your question brought up something, and I wanted to try something out. Maybe going forward, a little game that we all play, and this round's gonna be really quick. This game's gonna be called "What Would the STFU Crew Do?" And just a question to all of you about what you would do in a certain situation, and it should be applicable to something that happened in Survivor this episode or maybe in the past. So I thought I would just start off with something very simple, and it didn't happen this episode, but every time there's a challenge on the water and the winning tribe wins, they're asked to just jump off and well, actually, every tribe has to jump off the dock and swim to shore. My question to you guys is, how would you jump off the dock if you were the winning tribe to go swim to shore? You're all
Ooh.
excited. Well, what would you do? I'll
Front
go
flip.
first. I'll go first, and I'll say I'll probably do some fancy dive that I usually do because I love diving. I probably do one of my barrel roll dives.
No backflip?
No, that takes too much. That takes too much setup and to do. I think I would just
backflip.
I would do
Always
the barrel
backflip.
roll. Andre, what would you do?
I would do probably a 1080 mixed with a 420, and then, no, just kidding. I
Okay,
would
Tony
try.
Hawk's.
I would try to do a cool dive, and probably belly flop.
Like many of them do.
No, but like I'm a big guy, so I would take up a lot of like, oops, and then like I don't know. I feel like it would be bad, but I think I would try it. I feel if I was doing that, I would be okay being the goof of the crew and taking that role.
Awesome. Tone, what would you do?
I would just do a regular dive. I'm pretty. I don't know if you guys know. I'm pretty comfortable in water. I'm a good swimmer, but I could do. I would just do a regular dive.
Would you do
Tone's
like a splashless dive, like a no splash?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could dive.
Tone's a good diver.
Yeah.
I've seen him
No,
dive.
I'm a
Yeah.
good swimmer. I
He
can do.
could swim.
I remember taking this swimming lessons in elementary school, and the coolest thing I thought of was the stride jump. Have you guys done that? Where you can
Yeah.
jump into the water and keep your head out the water when you
Mhm.
jump in.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
that's what I would do. I don't like getting my hair wet.
that's what you do. What
Yeah.
I don't understand is how people have to plug their nose when they jump in the water. I don't get it.
You don't want to get water in the brain.
Sometimes, that they don't breathe out on the land in the water. They breathe in. So if you're breathing in,
Don't
water
breathe in when you're jumping in the
fills
water.
up
It's
the
common
wall.
sense. Don't breathe. How about that much?
Maybe you should teach them to stride jump so they don't even put their head in the water.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mitch, what would you do?
I would do my a patented like half step front to flip kind of a thing where I just try to land with like with my feet.
But you're doing only
first-
half, so you land what, on your back or your ass or what?
I don't know, like you guys give me dude off and Jocko just run and try to flip as far forward like to flip forward as far as I can rotate.
Okay, so you're hoping for a full flip,
So it's like a full flip going pretty much.
Yeah.
but you said half. So are you
So, like-
trying for half, or are you going for the full?
Oh,
Sorry, a flip, I guess. Yeah.
Okay,
because I
full
was like,
front flip.
I was like gonna say I'm trying to do something cool too, but I just can't. Okay, I get it. Okay,
Who's that? Shane?
Shane, what are you doing?
Stride jump all the way, baby. I don't want to have to plug my nose, you know?
I have a question. One question.
All right, Tone.
It's
Yeah.
going back to our survivor picks
Oh,
for our pool,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Who was, when you were looking at your list, who was your first pick? And you got to be honest.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
mine was
jeez.
Eva because she was the prettiest out of all of them. It was her, and then it was Charity after that.
Okay.
That was it. Those were my first
Okay.
two.
Mine was Jose Bautista,
Joe.
Shaheen.
Shoheen.
Oh, Shoheen.
I like that. Yes.
Sorry, I just heard Bautista. I thought you were talking about the wrestler, Batista.
No, that would be
Oh.
Joe.
That would be Joe if you were talking. Yeah, that's why I said. Right? Talk about Joe.
I think go for Demi is either it's either Mitch or Kyle? Do I have Kyle? Like that? I should have Kyle.
Okay, mine was either. Who was it? It was either Thomas or Justin. I thought I was I always try to think. Okay, who is not everyone going to pick, and who would be my my underdog that's going to go all the way to the end? I was thinking either Thomas or Justin could be it. So those are my first two picks.
Said, have you ever won your pool?
Yeah, and they were gone. Myself, I don't think I ever got first. Maybe second.
Top 5, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got second for one time.
Just curious.
I have won other prizes, like maybe lower or in the middle or last, but yeah, I haven't been successful in my own pool. Very much.
Okay, cool.
Shane give his pick.
So this week we're gonna get together. And we're
I didn't give my pick yet.
And I want to try these cool, awesome dives. By the way, I just want to throw that out ahead before I forget.
Okay.
And that's all. Thanks,
Tones.
guys.
What was Shane's pick? What was Shane's pick?
Shaheen, Jose Bautista.
All right. Okay, my pick was Charity, because when I started doing research on YouTube, she was the first interview, and I liked her answer, and she looked pretty good looking. So yeah, I kind of regret having her as my pick, but yeah, she went first.
We usually do regret our first picks, or maybe even all our picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes to show how unpredictable Survivor is.
Yeah.
Well, and also some people that pick our picks in different ways. Like some people
why did you
try to
how
win.
Did you make your picks, Mitch?
I always try for the worst, a place. I always try to pick people who I think will be voted out the first, and after that, I could hopefully win last place.
You should ask Jay for advice then.
Ooh.
Ouch.
I just haven't shot any shots at you, so I had to.
Bob's not here.
Exactly.
All right. Any last thoughts?
When I'm picking, I try to get the total age up, like a total age to like about 220.
But honestly, though, I usually like to pick like out of a gut instinct. So I like to put my picks in at the very last second.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah,
do it.
But sometimes that's not allowed, and I get a lot of hatred for it. So I gotta change my strategy because people don't like it. So
okay, you do you, man. You do you.
Yeah,
that's
just be you.
Really,
don't change, Andre.
That's just the procrastination.
It's not procrastination. It's like, oh, I have too much time to do this.
To being lazy then.
I want that gut instinct. That's what I want. So, right last second. Like, give me the ball with 2 seconds left.
Okay, Kobe.
Stop being lazy, man. As Mitch says, stop being lazy. There's the teacher and coach coming out of him.
Boom.
All right, guys, we're way over time. Let's cut it off there. Great episode, great conversation with you guys again this week. Love it. Hope you listeners had a good time.
Can't wait to see you guys in your swimming trunks this week. Let's go.
Jeez.
We're all filming in dive?
Yes.
Okay. I'll film a dive to put in YouTube chat.
All right.
And we're putting it on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, listeners, if anyone comes up to you and asks, what's the best new podcast you can listen to about Survivor? You tell them, STFU.
Bob sucks.
All right, see you next week, everyone.
Bobby, you suck.
Bye.
You suck, Bob.